It is Cousin here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about pets. A lot of people are constantly asking, like, what are the best pets, and what can we do to pretty much, expedite the pet voyage. So today we're going to go ahead and kind of break that down. Firstly, we're going to go ahead and open up the guidebook here. The guidebook really will tell you exactly what pets are all available and which ones that you need. So we're going to go to the item tab, and we're going to go to the pets, and pretty much from here, you'll learn about what pets give what stats, what pets stack with each other, and a lot of good stuff like that. So firstly, let's go ahead and let's break this down first. So pretty much, as you can see here, there's a bunch of different pets that give out different kinds of damage, and not only that, but there's a symbol next to pretty much every single one. So for each symbol, as you go through, you'll realize that pretty much all these pets are stackable with each other. For example, here you got final max damage, and pretty much there's only one of those, but you have max damage A, B, and C. All three of these sets are stackable with each other, but if you get two pets that are within the same tier, it will cancel out for the higher one. So for example, here in max damage, if I pulled a Steward, I'd get max 7 damage, but if I went and I pulled a Great Alparu gives me 60 max damage. So pretty much that's how that goes here. In each and every one of these categories, pretty much the pet that's on the furthest right, or the one that's on like the bottom on the farthest right, pretty much will be the best in slot pet, and in between there's other pets that you probably will find on the way up. You might not have the best in slot pet right away. For example, like in crit damage A here, it's very common for people to have like Panda, Fat Panda, or Dracon, and then only a few people will actually have Pet Pal. Critical damage B, you really only have two options. You get the Great White Tiger, or you get Great Dreamy the Fairy, and that's pretty much how this whole thing works here. Simply put, it's nothing too overly overwhelming or anything like that. It's really just for people who are in need of exactly what pets stack together. But another way to figure out exactly what pets you're missing is if you actually open up the pet tab, you can go into your pet passives, and pretty much here you will see what pet exactly goes in what slot. If the slot is empty, you'll see that it's empty here, and you can click on the guide, and the guide will bring up exactly what pet it is. So really that's all that I can really say about pets for right now. Next thing that I would like to talk a little bit about is enchanting your pets. Firstly, we're just going to talk about the pet puzzles and the pet reroll puzzles. Pretty much these are only available in that shop, but essentially you can roll stats onto your pets. You have to rank it up through using the pet memorial puzzles, and I believe that there's an item that you also can use at the pet shop. And you use a mixture of these two items to rank up your pet. Once you get to those stats, you can re-roll pretty much using the pet re-roll coupons to get higher stats essentially. Next after that, we're going to talk a little bit about potentials. Pretty much pet potentials, you can get a lot of these like stimulants through Ellie farming and the normal dungeons, and you can also get like premium stimulants through like various events and through the cash shop. So yeah, just keep all that in mind. Pretty much in order for you to roll pet potentials, you gotta come over here to the potential, you'll click on the pet, and you'll use X amount of potentials, for example, to engage. You get a potential roll, and from there pretty much you just kind of pick which one you want. Over time, as you can see here, you'll get a bunch of different pets, and you'll find these pet slots in the cash shop, and pretty much these pet slots will help you unlock and be able to add more pets in here. Just know when you switch pages, the stats for that set of pets are what you're getting. So for example, here I got all crit damage rolls, here I got all LED rolls, here I got all level up rolls, and here I got all drop rolls. So just keep that in mind pretty much as you swap between all that. Pretty much you'll end up finding out that each pet has certain roles that they possess, and exactly whatever gets dropped out of them drops essentially. So yeah, that's pretty much the pet guide. The pet guide's pretty simple. There's not really a whole lot to deal with here. The only thing that you have to worry about is the timing with buying pets, which whenever they come around, I suggest either trying to get one or farm the Ellie to get one. Typically whenever they come out, they're about 10 billion, 15, depending on rarity. So I definitely would check out a lot of this stuff here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the game, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Alright, last thing I wanted to talk about is what pets should you go for at the start of the game. Really, this one's going to be super simple. So if you ask me, pretty much any critical damage pet that you can get your hands on from these three categories is an absolute must. I would say secondary, definitely would look into some max damage pets as well. Really, the final minimum, final maximum, final crit damage pets are like all premium pets, so I really wouldn't worry too much about that. Min damage is something that you don't really have to chase very often, so I wouldn't look too much into the min damage pets right now. They don't really help your damage out a whole bunch in the start of the game, so if you get one, you get one. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. Dual damage pets typically are pets that are also pretty high priced. I wouldn't worry about these too early in the game. Next up are the attack and elemental intensity pets. I definitely would go for Rainicorn and Yambi as soon as possible. You can find these pretty cheap in the game because they're available in the cash shop. Outside of that, typically people have some of these relatively cheap too. So when I say relatively cheap, I mean typically anywhere about 2 to 3 bill. At most. Ascension attack pets I wouldn't worry about. Attack percentage pets, these are pretty vital at the start of the game. Gearity is probably going to be easier to get than Captain Jack, but in general, both of these pets are super vital. If you can get your hands on them, definitely something I would look for. Bonus damage A and B, they're sort of worth it. Wouldn't worth too much on them, but if you get one, you get one. A lot of people will probably have Milky Way before they actually get Yukina. Normal and boss damage amplification, like I've mentioned in the stat video, not really too worth it. If you do get them, they're really just for like late game damage. Nothing too impressive here, but you might actually end up getting one of these pets for sure through whatever event you might find. Basic stat pets would go for these as soon as possible. There's a ton of them, as you can see. Some of them are only through event, but most of them actually are very beneficial. For example, if you can get a Great Pandori, this gives 300% EXP gain to passively. So if this is in your main pet box, so whenever you open up your pet display, whatever pet's in this slot, you will get the passive stats. So for example, here with Great Lantern as well, you will also get 300% EXP gain and 100% LE gain. So really, it's all about what you decide to do in general. Next up, we've got static damage. Really wouldn't worry too much about this here. It's just really a bunch of pets that aren't really too needed, but if you happen to get one, you know, they're always super available, super good. Cooldown reduction. This is a huge pet. You'll definitely want to get Petite Dagos as soon as possible. This one's also handed out pretty frequently during events, so I would definitely look out for that as well. Let me see. TDD pets, absolute must. You absolutely need Brownie. Brownie is a must get from the get-go. Accuracy pets are also very vital. EXP gain pets are vital. You probably won't find a lot of these early on, but if you do find one early on and you have it, it's very beneficial for you. HP pets, specifically Marina, absolute must. Quest reward pets are kind of mid, but you know, if you get them early, they're definitely beneficial. Again, EXP pets, huge deal. LE gain pets, huge deal. You absolutely must have these. All three of these pets are absolute must. Whatever pet you get is super beneficial for your LE gain. This is actually where a good chunk of your LE gain is going to come from in the start of the game. So if you can get your hands, like let's say for example in slot A you get Gold Pig, slot B you get Great Petite Kenya, and then in slot C you get Great Rat. That's like 300 LE gains, so just keep that in mind too. Champion point rewards. For those of you who are going through this part of the game, you probably would be surprised about how beneficial this can be, but you probably won't find it pretty early game. You'll probably find this through like events and stuff like that. Movement speed pets, not super needed. Immortal A, absolute must. Absolute must. Kenshiro, absolute must. Super armor, absolute must. Dorong is okay. If you get one, they're relatively available, so if you get a Dorong, you know, it's there. But really, that's about it. Everything else is kind of secondary, to be honest with you. I'll put a list of all the pets that are super important on the right-hand side here. But outside of that, hopefully this in itself helps you guys out. And thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.